Hey, Chris Johnson here. It finally happened. I've been at work at my new job for a little over 6 months now, and finally, somebody has figured out that the podcast exists. To my knowledge, anyway. I don't know. Other people might have looked me up on social media and fucking found it, and they think like, wow, this guy is a fucking asshole. You hear this crazy shit that he's fucking yammering about? And they just don't tell me. Because it's not like this podcast is a fucking secret. It's fucking all over the place, goddammit. So you can find it, and I haven't like hid it or anything like that, because like, how would one hide it? I'm not gonna fucking go to like Apple Podcasts and be like, hey, could you do like an IP check on anybody who works at my fucking medical facility? Don't let them listen to this shit. Just block it out of these certain computers. I can't do that. But I've never mentioned it before, and nobody's ever found out about it until the other day. And it took a fucking new girl to do it. She might even be listening to this, because she knows about it now. I gave her the name of it, and it came up in like the first ever conversation, like real conversation, that I ever had with her. She was asking me about like old jobs and shit, and like radio came up. And she was like, do you think you'd ever have a podcast? And I tried to play all fucking cagey with it. And I was like, yes, I would. Because I enjoy, and instead of just ranting other shit, I started filibustering. I started doing what those assholes do in the fucking Senate and just yammering, thinking like, if I just fucking ramble the same way that you, listening to this podcast, are used to me fucking rambling, then eventually I'm going to hit like 8 other fucking topics, and she's going to grab onto one of those, and this podcast shit will just be swept under the fucking rug, and I'll have won. But that didn't fucking happen. After me just running my mouth for who fucking knows how long, she was like, let me ask you a question. If you did have a podcast, what would it be about? And now I'm stuck, right? I am in the middle of a situation at this point where I could keep the lie going. I'm good at lying. But a couple things came up. One, why am I going to keep lying at this point? Like, I've been there for 6 months. Hopefully, I'm safe enough. Like, I feel like if this came up like early on, maybe it'd be a fucking problem. And I'm still not talking about it at work, so you know what I mean? It's not like anybody's going to find out. I told her, I was like, I'd prefer keep this shit fucking quiet. So there was that. The other thing I thought of was like, dude, eventually somebody's going to find out about this fucking podcast. Then she's going to realize that I have a fucking podcast. And then there's going to be that awkward conversation about like, you've had a podcast for 10 fucking years, but you lied to me about a podcast. And not only did you lie to me, you concocted some fucking story about what you would talk about if you ever had a fucking podcast. All that flashed through my head in real time. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. Fine. I'll just say it. And I was like, listen to me. I'm going to tell you something that nobody else knows. I do have a podcast, and nobody fucking knows about it except for you. And you know what? I'd like to keep it that way. Like, I don't really give a fuck, but like, I'd appreciate it if you just didn't run back to the office being like, hey, this guy's got a fucking podcast, and he just says fuck 87 times in it. Will she keep that promise and keep the podcast a secret? The jury is out on that one. I don't know. I was wondering, like, how this even happened, too. And I'm wondering if it's because she's young. Like, I feel like my 43-year-old ass, like, I've been listening to podcasts for years, but there was, like, an older woman at work, and, like, podcasts came up one day because I was, like, talking about them, not like mine. I was like, yeah, I listened to a podcast on that. And she's like, I've never listened to podcasts. She's like, I don't know where I'd watch it. I was like, well, it's not a fucking channel. You can download an app, and then I realized, like, this person has no idea, like, what this is. Like, it might as well be something on the fucking moon. So, like, maybe just because she's young and she listens to a lot of podcasts, like, podcasts are top of fucking mind. Like, nobody's really talked to me about podcasts at work before. And there's only, like, so many people that I can talk to at work for, like, more than, like, 30-second bursts. The people around me, sure, but, like, if a fucking nurse walks out or some shit, it's not like I can be like, hey, you're dealing with a fucking patient, you're calling him back. Why don't you talk to Chris Johnson for 2 minutes? They don't got time for my bullshit. It's hello, how you doing? Hey, did you check this person in yet? When's their next fucking appointment scheduled? Oh, make sure you get these assholes on the schedule in 8 weeks. Those are the extent of the conversations I have. There's no podcast talk. So anyway, this new individual has been around me long enough to know that, like, I don't really give a fuck about anything. She asked me something when we were driving home, and I was like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck about that. And she's like, I feel like that's kind of like your thing, like not caring about stuff. And maybe it is my thing. But then I started to explain like why I wasn't like all that crazy about other people at work knowing about the podcast. And I was like, well, things are pretty stable at work right now. And like my relationship with everybody else is pretty stable. I feel like I get along with everybody. And I don't want to fucking rock the boat. I don't want to inject podcast Chris Johnson into their fucking psyche. They don't know this asshole exists. They see the asshole who smiles at them when they walk in, this chuckling fuck handing out ghost stickers and shit. They don't get the fucking angry Chris Johnson that just bitches about everything. And I don't really want their opinion of me to change. So I'm explaining that, and she's like, well, I thought you didn't care about what people think. Well, yeah, I don't. Here's where the problem is. If somebody's opinion of you changes, sometimes the way they treat you can change. And I don't want to be treated any differently. If I knew some crazy fucking fact about somebody else, I would do my fucking best to make it seem like I didn't know about it. Because I don't want to treat anybody differently. I don't want any fucking weirdness. If everybody at work fucking hated me and treated me well to my face, I'm fucking fine with that. Some people get pissed. They're like, it's two-faced bullshit. You can be at work as two-faced with me as you fucking want. You can smile in my fucking face, and so long as you're not a narc trying to get me fired or anything like that, you can fucking hate me. I'm cool with that. But I'm just worried that somebody, might change a little bit. That's all. I don't want awkwardness to come to the office because they know about podcast Chris Johnson. That's all I'm saying. And another thing, what if they think I suck? I don't need to be knowing that they think I fucking suck. You don't fucking have to tell me that. I don't need to know. So I even told, new person, I was like, listen, if you think this podcast sucks, fine. Don't say a fucking word to me about it. Do not, please. So that's where we're at. Like, things could be getting a little fucking interesting at work. In the coming weeks, we shall see. I will be back Sundays and Wednesdays as new podcast episodes come out. Podbean is the host of the cast. Every fucking episode is there, but I'm also all over the fucking place. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Amazon Music Podcasts, wherever the fuck you want. I'm on Instagram. That isn't maybe 5 minutes. I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky. Johnson Hates You. And if you're into Facebook, you can catch this podcast right in my fucking timeline.